As I said, people, it's the international break. So we are talking about the topics that are currently trending right now. And right now, what's going crazy, I don't know if you've seen it, is Michael Owen's interview with Rio Ferdinand. By the way, amazing interview. Love what Rio's doing, of course. So go and check that out, by the way. But Michael Owen was speaking about, obviously being a Ballon d'Or winner, winning it at such a young age, the second youngest ever winner. R9 is the number one. And it got me thinking, right? It got me thinking, like, I've looked at that Michael Owen season. Some people say, did he deserve it? Did he not? I don't know. At the end of the day, it's in his cabinet, and that's all that matters. But Michael Owen is only the fourth Ballon d'Or winner ever, right? Well, that's English, right? I think it's Michael Owen, Bobby Charlton, Stanley Matthews, and I am probably missing one, and I cannot remember who it is, and that's poor from me, but I am missing one, right? So he's won the Ballon d'Or, and he's got it as Englishman. It had me thinking, who from England has been closest to winning the Ballon d'Or in what I perceive as their level in that season? Now, guys, disclaimer, before you guys say, well, Gerrard finished third on the podium, Lampard finished second, so obviously them. I am not doing it via that. I'm doing it on how I felt when I saw these seasons and how I felt, their general level was that year. Because we've seen Gerrard has had some better years than the one that he won Player of the Year. We've seen some years where Lampard has had better years and he's not even in the Team of the Year. So you look at some things, right? And you look at some stats, some statistics, and obviously when they were doing in the season of where those players are, or should I say of where what I perceived as their level. Some people were not at their best in the years that maybe they got crowned as the best. Do you get where I'm coming from? So if you're sticking with me with that one, you'll get what I'm talking about. So I've done a top five. Top five players, right? The top five players to come closest in level of being a Ballon d'Or level player, right? The top five closest. So I've been indecisive. I've been very indecisive about this one, but I'm going to start, people. And it's solely because of his position that it comes at a little bit of a tax. But I'm going to start with number 5, John Terry 0405. John Terry 0405, Chelsea conceded 15 goals in that campaign. And John Terry, alongside with Ricardo Carvalho and the Jose Mourinho system, of course, was an absolute rock at the back. What John Terry was doing that season in terms of aerial duels, in terms of dominating, in terms of being an absolute figurehead and leader of that Chelsea team cannot be spoken about lightly. A lot of people talk about the level that Van Dijk hit, because he came second in the Ballon d'Or. I think John Terry was arguably just as good if you're talking about peak. John Terry, that season was just different. And the thing is, he also scored big goals. So I'm going to get up his stats as well. I remember he scored against Barcelona that season. One thing about John Terry, he scored 8 goals that season, people. 8 goals. John Terry scored 4 goals in the Champions League in that campaign. 4 goals in the Champions League. And that goal, Barcelona, Porto, PSG, Moscow. John Terry that was the year where Chelsea, of course, took that jump in terms of we have now gone from challengers, to now being the pinnacle, to now being the Dons. And I think John Terry deserves massive, massive credit for that as well. I mean, absolutely solid. Near post, nothing getting past him. On the ball, I'm not even going to say very underrated, because if you know at this point. John Terry on the ball, both feet, left foot, 60 yards, doesn't matter. There's some games that he was only doing left foot passing exhibitions. Breaking the lines, he can do that. And as I said, his leadership, the captain. Has there ever been a better captain in the Premier League? For me, only Roy Keane. Those are the 2 greatest captains we've seen in the Premier League, And I think with John Terry, as I remember that Barcelona goal, massive goal, near post, John Terry. I think that campaign deserves a shout. And I'm going to put it in the top 5. I didn't put it as higher than 5 because I feel like I always give a little bit of a tax at centre half. So I'm attacker bias, midfield bias. Yes, you can say that. But at the end of the day, the reality is John Terry in that season was an absolute colossal. And you even look at the season when they went out, they didn't win the Champions League that year. So some people might be like, oh, Champions League, no Champions League. That year, they basically kept 2 clean sheets against Liverpool. They conceded a ghost goal, guys. The ghost goal got them out. But you look at their Champions League run, right? They had tough teams. They had Barcelona. They had Bayern Munich. They had Liverpool. But in that Liverpool tie, clean sheet away at home, and obviously the ghost goal away. John Terry was big in them games. I've actually watched them games, full 90 minutes back as an adult. I've watched them games because I like to say to myself, I like to educate myself. You know what I mean? I don't always want to talk about things that maybe I maybe had a different image of it at the time of watching it. So for me, John Terry fifth. John Terry fifth. And I remember, I think that was the campaign? That was the campaign, actually, yes, that they played against Arsenal, that big game against Arsenal after Arsenal went invincible the season before. And John Terry scored in that game as well. A brilliant header in that one as well. That's the game that Henry did the quick free kick and the quick volley, did that celebration. Hey, this ain't about Thierry Henry. So I'm going number 5. I'm going with John Terry. Now, number 4, I'm very indecisive over. I'm not going to lie. I'm very indecisive over, man. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I don't know where to go. I'm thinking about it, people. I'm thinking about it as we go along. I even had to pause and really think about it, yeah. But number 4, I'm going to go with Jude Bellingham. I'm going to go with Jude Bellingham, and I'll tell you why I've gone Jude Bellingham below the guy that's just above. I'm going Jude Bellingham. He finished on the podium that year, so congratulations to him because he was brilliant that year. He won La Liga Player of the Year. That obviously plays a part into things. But Jude Bellingham, the reason why for me, we have to talk about how he entered Madrid. Let's not forget, at one point, everybody was doing this. Everybody was doing this, right? Everybody. Sorry, let me adjust this. Everybody was doing this, right? Jude Bellingham took over the world of that celebration. What he did with Real Madrid, walking into there from Dortmund, was absolutely incredible. The goals he was scoring, some of the performances. I'm thinking about the Napoli performance where people thought it was Zidane reincarnated. The Barcelona goals. I think Jude Bellingham, that start of the season, have we seen a campaign like that? I mean, he was keeping up with Cristiano Ronaldo Real Madrid statistics. He was keeping up with Ronaldo's Real Madrid statistics from his debut season. In terms of debut campaigns, going into a league, it's rarely been seen someone instantly impacting the way Jude Bellingham done. In the first half of that campaign, Real Madrid was his team. Vinny closed out 100%. But to start there, to make the dream happen, to make the dream be a thing, for them to even dream, it was because of Jude Bellingham. And you just look at the start of his campaign. Goal against Bilbao, 2 goals against Almeria, goal against Celta Vigo, goal against Getafe. That's all in a row. Then took a 2-game drought. Goal against Girona, 2 goals against Osasuna, with no goal against Sevilla, 2 goals against Bar. It was non-stop. 90th minute winner in his first Clasico and the screamer. I mean, the guy was doing everything. But the reason, if he had continued this way, he would have probably been in the top 2. But the reason why Jude Bellingham is at number 4 is because the second half of the season, I would probably say from about January, it really started to go down for Jude. And I think his Champions League campaign, despite winning it and getting an assist, I think his Champions League campaign was underwhelming. I think in the knockout rounds, Jude wasn't good enough. You look at it, for example, 1 assist against Leipzig, but then nothing from there on until the final, which was the assist to close out the game. I think his performance was the game was going by him. I don't think he was great. And then even in the second half of the season, you're looking at this, what I'm looking at. Suspension, yellow card suspension, so he misses a game. Ankle sprain, misses 2 games. Red card suspension, misses 2 games. 3 games on the bench. It was a bad closeout of the year. And then, of course, they went to the World Cup. And I personally think, yes, he scored some late winners, but I don't think his performances for England in the World Cup were that great. So I'm just going to knock down Jude solely because he didn't end the season well. But I have to reiterate, if Jude Bellingham had continued this level, I think he would have been in the top 2. And I think the level that he was playing at is on the same par as the guy I'm going to say as number 3, who for me is 04-05 Frank Lampard. 04-05 Frank Lampard. I think Lampard was absolutely brilliant in this campaign. I mean, again, same thing in terms of what I'm saying with John Terry. You look at Frank Lampard and the ascendancy he made that year. He scored 19, I think it was 19 goals. Yeah, 19 goals, 22 assists. 13 and 18 in the Premier League. They're all talking about all these guys that could have almost broken the record of Henry's record. Lampard literally got 18 assists in that season. 18 assists. So it was something that could have been achieved way before we've ever really got fixated on it. You know what I'm saying? So Frank Lampard that year, I think was just brilliant. The goals from midfield, the endurance. He played every single game that season. That's one thing about Frank Lampard. He never used to miss a game. We're talking about some of his finishes. You know, the guy running into the box and the late arrival into box. That is Frank Lampard. He's the one that makes, maybe some people would say Michel Platini and some guys, but he's the one that has really popularized it in this modern era. You know what I mean? It's Frank Lampard. Anytime you have somebody scoring goals, say it's like Frank Lampard from midfield. He was brilliant in this campaign, and you cannot ignore how good he was in the Champions League as well. Goals against Bayern Munich, goals against Barcelona. He was present. Both legs against Bayern Munich, he scored 3 goals. Barcelona, he scored. He was just an ever-present for Chelsea in the big moments. And that goes no further than saying the way he closed out the Champions League, the Premier League. The Premier League, obviously, Chelsea were running away with it. But to win it, to finally bring it back to Chelsea after 50 years, the way he did with those 2 goals against Bolton, that one where he's just running, boom, takes it past the keeper, boom, finishes it off. That one where it comes across him, smacks it, reverse, absolutely brilliant. And towards the end of the season, he scored 1 against Palace, 1 against Southampton, 1 against Fulham, 2 against Bolton, 1 against Newcastle in the final game. I think if you're looking at somebody now, John Terry won Player of the Year because that's an incredible achievement. You think about what John Terry did. John Terry, they conceded 15 goals that year. John Terry actually only conceded 12. The games that he missed, he only conceded 12. So I would understand why he's the Player of the Year. But I think if you're talking about, listen, you still need to win the title. Yeah, you can stop a team from scoring, but you need someone that's going to win it. That was Drogba's first year. That wasn't peak Drogba. You know, Johnson was there, Drogba was there, but that wasn't peak Drogba. Lampard is the one that delivered that title for Chelsea, you know. And obviously they were winning a lot of games, not by big margins. So you need someone that's going to step up and score important goals. And that is what Frank Lampard did. And Frank Lampard, for me, 04-05. And I think he actually finished second on the Ballon d'Or podium that year. You know, obviously, as I said, Chelsea got to the semi-finals of the Champions League. And it's unfortunate that they didn't win it or go to the final. But I am going to go with Lampard 04-05. Now, he's had numerous seasons, by the way. 09-10, I think there was a lot of penalties in there. 05-06, I thought he should have been the Player of the Year. He was brilliant that year. But I'm going to go with the 04-05. He did finish on the podium that year for the World Player of the Year. I believe it was second. And as I said, his overall level, his ever-presenceness, his goal scoring, you know, he was even scoring a lot of goals for England in that campaign. His assists. It was a Frank Lampard team. You know what I mean? Frank Lampard was the difference. That was the X factor for Chelsea in that campaign. Now, guys, second place. Now, he's got a few seasons that I really like. You know, I'm just going to get up. He's got a few seasons that I really like. But the one that sticks out for me is 2008-2009 Steven Gerrard. Now, I know he didn't finish on the podium. I don't even know where he finished in the Ballon d'Or list for this one. But Steven Gerrard in 08-09. I'm struggling to think of a more complete player. There's been some, of course, but English player, I'm struggling to think of a more complete player than 08-09 Gerrard. Behind the striker, Torres, which people don't talk about, is Torres actually missed a lot of games that season. And maybe that could have been a reason why Liverpool didn't win the league, because if you look at the games that Liverpool dropped points, Torres was missing in a few of them. Liverpool drew a lot of games as well. Gerrard even missed 7 games that campaign. But You know, if you're thinking about it, Torres missed 14 Premier League games that season. Gerrard had to carry the mantle. Gerrard was absolutely sensational. Sensational. Like, he was like a freight train. When you're talking about somebody that can just pick up speed and just get away from you, that was Steven Gerrard. The ball striking ability. I remember that. Is it this season, that free kick against Newcastle? Was it after Boxing Day? There we go. Oh man, I remember this stuff, man. In the 28th of December, yeah. Gerrard away at Newcastle, that free kick that he put into the bins. Come on, man. In this version of Gerrard, bro, people ain't fucking with him. Not many people are fucking with him. Passing ability, breaking the lines, through balls, running in beyond. You know what I mean? Just pure techers, the passion, the leadership. Liverpool almost won the league that year, but as I said, they had too many draws. And if you look at some of the games that Gerrard missed, 4-4 against Arsenal, Gerrard wasn't there. 0-0 against Fulham, Gerrard wasn't there. 1-1 versus Man City, Gerrard wasn't there. So you look at these games that they've missed. Liverpool really had a claim that they could have won. Again, Aston Villa, 0-0. Gerrard wasn't there. So you look at the games that Gerrard missed. It's pivotal to why Liverpool potentially didn't win the title that year. It's really pivotal to it. Because even in that 08-09 season, right? Ronaldo missed a lot of games that season. Yeah, he won the gold. Was it joint golden boot, or he lost out to I can't remember, a Anelka, I think it was. But he even missed a lot of games that season. Liverpool could have won that Premier League. They came to Old Trafford, 1-4-1. Steven Gerrard's performance in that game, in the grey kit. I promise you guys, I remember watching that on my TV, sitting there looking at it. And I used to like Steven Gerrard growing up. Like, you know, when you're young, you just like English play, you like all the ballers, whatever. When he kissed that camera, mwah, yo, hate developed. I started to hate the guy, bro. I swear to you. But that's also because he was so good. And let's not talk about that performance in the Champions League against Real Madrid. You know what I mean? When they smoked Real Madrid 4-0. Steven Gerrard's performance that game. The goal that he scored. Listen. The goal against Marseille, when the ball came across him and he just whips it into the top. I remember this all, people, without even searching it. I could remember all of this away to Marseille. Hey, listen, I'm really tapping into my football nerd bag right now, right? But you look at some of the statistics. Marseille in the Champions League, they won 2-1, Gerrard 2 goals. Atletico Madrid draw, Gerrard scores. Marseille at home, Gerrard scores, 1-0 win. You know what I mean? Like, so his goals were even of high importance. And for me, even though Lampard won the league, even though Jude won La Liga, and Gerrard didn't win nothing this year, and John Terry won, I don't care. For me, Gerrard this season was different. That combination with Torres, that's one of the most iconic 1-2 punches in Premier League history. What, Torres running that way? Forget about it. I absolutely love that season for Gerrard, even though he's an op. I love it. Because we end up winning the league anyway, so I don't mind. And finally, people, I think, personally, people, I think this is the highest level I have seen an English player in my lifetime. In my lifetime, I think this is the highest level. I mean, what he did this season, in terms of carry, it's the guy behind me. Oh, 9-10 Wayne Rooney. I need to say that again and put a bomb. 09-10 Wayne Rooney. The highest level I have seen from an English player. Wayne Rooney in 09-010. You want to talk about carry jobs, people. Tevez left. Ronaldo left. They gave us Antonio Valencia, Michael Owen, and Gabriel Obertan and said, make it work. Wayne Rooney said, okay, say no more. 26 goals in the league, 4 assists, 34 goals in all comps. We were doing special things. And people, if Rooney did not miss those 6 games, that 09 Chelsea team were stacked. Michael Ballack, Malouda, Anelka, Drogba, Frank Lampard. Bro, like the list goes on and on. That Chelsea team was stacked. Solomon Kalou hopping off the bench. we had Wayne Rooney, Valencia, and Nani, and old Ryan Giggs, old Paul Scholes. Rooney carried his performances in that campaign, right? He says that was not even his favorite season because he was having to play up front. But in terms of being a hero, you know when they say when a hero comes along, that was Wayne Rooney in 08-09. I didn't believe we had a chance of doing anything when I saw Ronaldo and Tevez leave. And Rooney said, yeah, this is going to be my most legendary campaign. And honestly, guys, personally, I haven't seen an English player perform at this level. 2 goals against Milan, 2 goals at home, 2 goals away, goal against Bayern Munich. And I promise you guys, if Rooney did not get injured in that home leg against Bayern Munich, who knows what could have happened? Who knows what could have happened? Genuinely, that one hurts me. That is one of the biggest what ifs. And you look at what I'm saying, ankle injury, misses the big tie against Chelsea. The head-to-head Premier League decider. Rooney v Drogba for the Golden Boot. Rooney, Manchester United versus Chelsea. Ancelotti versus Ferguson. This is peak Premier League football, people. Rooney misses it with an ankle injury. Manchester United lose 2-1 at home against Chelsea. Yes, a Didier Drogba offside goal. But regardless, we lose and Rooney is not there. Now, what could have been if Wayne Rooney was there? And do you know what we go and do afterwards with Rooney out again? We draw 0-0 to Blackburn the next game, people. And we lost the title by 1 point. 1 point. He was special, man. He honestly, he was special that year. I haven't seen anyone play at that level. Passing, speed. He was so fast that season. Scoring headers after headers. Some of the goals that he scored, some of the performances. You think about the 4 goals against Hull, I believe it was. The goal gluts he went on. Let me show you guys, right, what Wayne Rooney was on. I'm actually going to have to get this up for you guys. Like, I'm going to have to visually show you this one. I have to visually show you guys. Look at this run. People, look at this. 3 goals, 1 goal, no goal, 1 goal, no goal, 1, 1. And these are with assists as well. No goal, 1, 4, 1, 1. 2 goal drought, 2, not in squad, 2, 1, not in squad, injury cost us the season, you know. And then obviously from there, with them injuries, his season kind of just pitted out. And of course, in the Champions League, you look at the Champions League, 2 against Milan. Bro, that away game against Milan when he scored the header in the white kit with the gloves. Guys, you're going to make me emotional. You're going to make me emotional, man. For me, the highest level. And again, he walked into the World Cup injured, as always. Yeah, we won the Carabao Cup, but that's nothing to really sing and praise about. He scored in the final of the Carabao Cup, by the way. Scored that big header against Manchester City in that battle for Carlos Tevez. But guys, we should have won the league, man. But Chelsea was so good that year as well. But the fact that we were even in with a chance, we had people like Gibson playing. Fletcher made the team of the year. What a campaign, man. 26 in the Champions League. 5 in the Champions League, 26 in the Premier League. Guys, that's my one, man. I look back at that season with regret because for me, I just don't think that season gets enough flowers. I think that's one of the best Premier League seasons ever. And I think that is the highest level I've ever seen an English player play. For me, Rooney is the greatest English player of all time. And if you're talking about what everyone, bro, he can score like Frank Lampard. He's got the athleticism and drive of a Steven Gerrard. He plays with that fire and passion of a Steven Gerrard. He assists like David Beckham. You know what I mean? Like, he can pass, not as good, but he can pass. He's like pass that Scholes, like Scholes. This guy was a hybrid of everyone. Rooney could play centre forward, right wing, left wing, centre mid, right back, left back, but I'm telling you, Rooney could play anywhere. He was just a total footballer. Anyway, let me not go off on a tangent. Guys, let me know. Let me get this Ballon d'Or. Let me know what English players were closest to winning this in terms of the level that you have seen them. Now, honourable mention to Harry Kane in 17-18. 41 goals in 48 games. He was dangerous that year. Unbelievable. And honourable mention to Raheem Sterling, 18-19. Another brilliant campaign. I think he's got 25 goals that season. He was brilliant. And City won 4 trophies or whatever it was, formidables or whatever. They did their thing. But this is my top 5. Let me know in your one if there's any honorable mentions I missed, any players that you think could get there. You know what I mean? Who next could be in this conversation? Is it going to be Palmer? Is it going to be Saka? Who's going to give us seasons like these ones that I just mentioned, people? Guys, like, share, subscribe, turn your notifications on. International break. England are playing today. But I'm going to drop this after the England game. But guys, road to 50k. Let's get there. Appreciate all the love. And it's your boy, CultureCams. I'll be looking out for the comments and seeing what you guys say. I'm out. Peace.